this week's strength training for runners. This week we're going to be looking at a little bit of pelvis work, but mostly it's like hamstrings and how we can use hamstrings in different movements. Okay, for the exercise today you're going to need a roller, you're going to need a block, you're going to need a heavy-ish weight, two sort of lower end lighter weights. So I've got a 3 here and a 5, and then you're also going to need a bench. So we're going to start off, or a chair will work just as well. So we're going to start off on the floor. Oh, I should have also said a band. Okay, we're going to start off on the floor. Okay, we're going to start with some pelvic tilts. So nice and relaxed, fingers come on the hips, and we're going to just tilt the pelvis forward, and then we're going to draw the pelvis back. Reach the pelvis forward, and then draw the pelvis back. Now as I come back here, I'm not gripping the abs and squeezing the glutes. I'm literally just letting the pelvis rock forward and then come back. In this end position, I can feel my spine pushing into the mat. As I push it away, I can feel it coming away. What you can try is coming to the end here and really trying to emphasize this tilt, so really tucking, but without squeezing or gripping the pelvic floor, just really finding that flat spinal flexion. And then as we reach away with the pelvis, see if you can keep the ribs on the floor and just find that anterior tilt. Okay, and then back we come, tipping towards you, seeing if we can find really decent range with that, but just nice and relaxed, and then pushing away. Keeping the ribs back on the floor. Just see if you can get to a place that feels like a nice stretch. You want to find end range of all this stuff. I'm just going to do a couple more here. Ribs stay back as we tilt the pelvis forward. Everything really nice and glidey and smooth. And then coming in here. And then last one there, into that anterior tilt. And you might see as I do this, what happens is that as I come through both of these, change happens at my head. So as I tuck under the pelvis and find that push into the lower back, my head lifts up, and then as I tilt it away, my chin tucks down. Okay, and this is all because this spinal movement that's happening, drawing us back and forth. Okay, next up you're going to need your bench. Okay, for this exercise, I'm going to come into straddle. Now, if you've got a chair, put your legs either side of that chair base. Okay, I'm going to start in this position here. Now, different to what we've just been doing with the pelvic tilt, in this exercise, we're going to start having a look at hinging at the pelvis, hinging at the hip. Okay, so I'm on my tiptoes, they're just beneath my bum, and all I'm going to do is slowly tip forward, stay as long as I can in the spine. Lift the sitting bones off the chair, and I'm going to use my feet quite a lot in this, and then I'm going to push back, and as I come back, I'm going to use my abs to keep me long in this position. But I can feel the back of my sitting bones, so I'm into the flesh of my bum. Okay, nice and tall, we're going to come forward. You could take an exhale here. Just to help with the stack and the length in the spine. And then we're going to come back again, and we're going to do another tilt backwards into here. And again, exhale here, but stay tall. And then we're going to come back to center. So sitting bones directly beneath me, so head is sitting on top. And next thing we're going to do is place the hands on the front of the bench or chair. Okay, and we're going to come into that forward lean, staying really long in the spine. Sitting bones are coming up, and we keep tilting forward. And then we're going to slowly lift the sitting bone up. Lifting the sitting bone up. Okay, knees stay bent and forward, spine stays long, nice and relaxed on the bench. And then we're going to come here, and we're going to just fight really hard to see if we can come forward. We can stay heavy in the heel and the whole foot. See if we can really push through the floor and get the sitting bones as far away from the heels as possible, and the head as far from the sitting bones as possible. So really nice and relaxed, but very active in this position. And then we're going to take 3 inhales while we're here. That's 1. And keep lifting, keep pushing. Make sure you're pushing through both feet equally. And then the last one here. Reaching, 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 head away. Long, long spine. And then down we come. Okay, that's that exercise done. Now as you're moving your chair out of the way, see whether you can actually feel more movement in your pelvis. See if you can feel a bit more like as you're bending down into your body. Okay, we're going to come down onto the floor and we're going to come into a wall stride. So not a little bit further out than 90-90, we're going to push up into a bridge. Okay, and I use the foot pushing into the wall and pulling down to get me into this top position. And then all I'm going to do is come into, lift the heel off as high as it can come. I'm finding my whole toe knuckles across the big to little toe. Down, reach the heel away, coming up, coming down, reaching the heel away for 2. Come up, and then slowly come down for 3. Up, and slowly come down for 4. And up. And slowly come down for 5, and just 1 more here, and up, and slowly come down for 6. Switching around onto the other side, up we come, into that high calf raise, slowly lower the heel down, up we come, slowly lower that heel down, reaching away for 2. This leg you can either pull in close or you can reach it away, see what feels best, and 2. Really find both end ranges, so reaching that heel away for 3. My glute is on, but only because I'm pushing hard into the wall, I'm not squeezing that glute. Okay, 6, and this is our last one here, and there. Okay, so we've really woken up our hamstrings with those 2 movements. Okay, next you're going to need some weights, okay? And we're going to come into a little superset of 2 exercises. So we're going to push up into a bridge here, and we're going to come into some chest flies, okay? And then we're going to come into a standing hamstring exercise, okay? So we'll come on to that in a second. I'm a bit tight for space just here, so I'm just going to move down a bit. Okay, so replace the feet against the wall. Okay, so replace the feet against the wall, or the mirror in my case, which isn't ideal, but never mind. Okay? So push your feet up and pull them down. Okay? Now in this position, my hamstrings are pretty active. Okay? And all I'm going to do is lower the hands out to the side and then pull them back in for 1. So I take an inhale as I come down, and then I draw them in on an exhale for 2. Reaching the arms away, imagine the shoulders attached to the arms. We're trying to take the shoulders away from the spine as we reach down. They're like bird's wings. And we're going to go all the way to 8. Reaching, 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 reaching. 6. Pushing through the wall. You should be getting some core in this. Like I'm getting this quite a lot happening in my lower abs. And last one here. And 8. Okay, we're supersetting that with a little hamstring exercise. So, you're going to take your band, okay, and you're going to tuck it under the heel of one foot, and then you're going to place the other foot through the band, okay? So you're coming into you've got we're going to work this inside leg. I'm just going to switch them over for demonstration purposes. Okay. So from here, we're going to come into stance on this standing leg. Okay, so everything is stacked. Head, ribs, pelvis. I've got a soft knee and I can feel my centre of mass over my whole foot. From here, all I'm going to do is draw up my heel as high as I can take it and hold it here. Okay, I'm going to hold here for as long as we possibly can. Things to watch out for is bending and sticking the bum out Okay, we want to stay tall and stacked. Okay, this is like, you can see here, this is like stance and swing. So we're lifting and pulling as hard as we can, hamstring, heel to hamstring. And we're going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and switch. Okay, coming round to the side. So the key is to stay really nice and tall throughout the whole exercise. Often what I'll see is people losing strength and then they slowly sort of sit back into it. Okay, so coming in from here, really nice and tall, in my stance position, drawing my heel to hamstring, and we're going to hold here for 10, actually probably a little bit more than that. Okay, for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep pulling and lifting, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, we're going to come back down onto the floor into our chest flies. So as I said, you should feel like your lower abs working in this exercise. So feet come against the wall, we're going to push up into that bridge. And then from here, we're going to lower, take an inhale, reach the arms away, and come for 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Step check, you can feel both heels and whole forefoot. And 5, and 6, and 7, and last one here, and 8. Okay, back up we come. Okay, into our little hamstring pull back. So I'll start with my right again. So into that stance position, really nice and tall, eyes forward, hips open. Okay, if we start here, that's no use to anybody. We want to be here and tall. From here, we're going to slowly draw the heel towards the hamstring. Okay, stay nice and tall. We're going to hold it here. Make sure you're not pushing, sitting the hip back. We'll be nice and tall, almost pushing the hip forward, using like as much as we can to fight the want to like crumble into this. So you stay nice and tall for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, coming round to the other side. Place the foot into the stand. Okay, so finding that stack, really nice and tall. And then from here, we're going to pull heel to hamstring. Okay, do not hinge forward. Stay nice and tall. Lift heel to hamstring. And we're going to hold here, hold. And we're going to do for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep pulling, 5, 4, stay tall, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, back into our bridges. Last little ones of these. Okay, pushing up into a bridge. Just a little bit closer. Okay, and out we come. And for 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and last one here, and 8. Okay, last little set of these hamstrings. And here we go. So really nice and tall, find that stance, get over the foot, and then slowly pull heel to hamstring, pull. Okay, keep the knee soft, over that whole foot, pulling, nice and tall, nice and relaxed. And we're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, nice and tall, then let that hip disappear, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Coming round to the other side. Last of the one on this side here. It might be that if you're struggling with these, you just need a lighter band. I've got a medium here, but you might need a lighter one, like an easy. Okay, find your stance, knee forward, heel comes towards hamstring, pull, 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 pull. Now have a little look at your foot. Is your foot pointing the floor? Is it twisted out to the side? Because obviously we want it pointing to the floor, because as it comes through, we want it nice and clean, nice and tall, hip forward, knee soft. I'm going to hold for 10, 9, 8, pulling that heel to hamstring, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Ooh, that felt tough. Okay, so that's that little circuit complete. Next up, we're going to do a little bit of hip and glute, okay? So, a slightly more challenging version of that little wall stride we did earlier. So, for this, you said you're going to need a roller. We've done these before in classes before. This is a really nice way of like taking a hinge and getting the pelvis moving around the leg. It's also a nice way to get the hamstring working at the back. So, place the roller into the wall and push the knee use the knee to pin that roller to the wall. Weight comes in the opposite hand to work to the standing leg. And first thing we're going to do is RDL down. Now always with this we want to think about where our pelvis is at. And I would prefer the pelvis was turned towards the standing leg than floating off away. So if you need to, you can turn it down. If you can manage finding the balance, even better. Everything is led by the back leg coming up. Okay, and we're opening up this pelvis. We've done it on the bench already. Opening up that pelvis and length through the hamstring. We're going to push through the standing foot, slowly pull the leg up and over, and then we're going to place the heel in front, and with that the pelvis turns towards, like the headlights of the pelvis are sort of at 1 o'clock. Okay, we come back over, we reach down to the floor, keeping the stack long, lifting that back leg up, then we push back over, reaching forward with the heel, tap the heel, turn the pelvis to about 1 o'clock, and then back over we come, reaching the weight towards the foot, lifting the back leg up, and then over we come again, and here's 3. Okay, my knee isn't straightening, everything in the standing leg is staying exactly as it is, and then down we come. We're just going to do one more after this. So we're just taking our time to come through these. Heel comes forward, pelvis turns to this opposite leg, and then last one here, reaching towards the big toe, heel reaching to the sky, push through the floor, leg comes over the top, tap the heel in front of us. Okay? If your glute's not burning in that, I would imagine that your back probably is. So, you want to try and find it in the glute. It might be that you're coming too far and you're lacking some range. So, coming down onto this side. So I'm in this stance position. We've already practiced this in that hamstring bridge. We're going to reach the weight down and we're going to lift this back leg up. From here, we push through the floor of that standing leg. We're going to lift the opposite leg over, and then we're going to tap the floor with the heel in front of us, turning the pelvis to 11 o'clock. Back over we come, reaching the weight down towards the big toe, heel comes up, long spine. We should be getting length through this glute. We're going to push, lift the leg over, lifting out of this hip, and tap to the floor for 2. Back we come again, reaching down, make sure you're reaching into the glute, and then we're going to push, and we're going to lift that leg over, lifting out of this opposite hip, and tap the heel in front, and then we're just going to do one more here, heel to the sky, reaching down with the big toe, push, 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 through the floor, reach the foot over, and then tap the heel out in front. Okay, a really, really, really excellent movement for quite a lot of things. Okay, we're going to superset that with a little movement. Now, earlier we did those bridges against the wall. This is just a step on from that. So you can always stick with the bridges against the wall as an alternative to this. So, We're going to come down to the back, we're going to push up into a bridge, and then all we're going to do is bounce and land. Okay, and land against the wall. Okay, so pushing up into the bridge and land. Now as I land, I'm landing with my forefoot, okay? So the heel's ever so slightly floating. Pushing up, and there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. Make sure the heel comes very, very close to the wall. 6, all the way to 8, and 7, and 8. Okay, coming down, switching on to the other side. Okay, I'm going to push up into the bridge for 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and last one here, and 8, and rest there. Okay, right, so that's the second circuit, and we're doing for time. Right, we'll have 2 more circuits of this, and then we'll come into our cool down. So taking our weight, now this time I'm not going to go quite so slowly as I did before. So from here, reach towards big toe, heel comes up, get into that RDL, push through the floor, coming over, tap the heel for 1. Back we come. Reaching, 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 make sure you're getting length all through this hip and you're turning a little bit towards this standing leg, pushing up and tap for 2, back we come. Down, 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 push, tap for 3, back we come, and 4, turning, turning, turning. We're going to go to 6 on this one. And 5, big tap with the heel, and last one here, reaching to the sky with that back leg, tap the heel, then turn the pelvis, and 6, round onto the other side. Okay, so reaching down, get my foot right, push through the floor, leg comes over, tap in front for 1. Here we go, and 2, and 3, lovely, lifting heel to the sky, and 4, and last one, hit 2 here, push through the floor to get up. If you're not pushing through the floor, you're going to be pulling through the spine, and 5, and last one here, big, big reach. Push, 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 over you come, and back. Okay, down onto the floor, back into our little pogos, down into here. Okay, if you want to come back into those little wall hops, calf wall strides, go for it. If not, we're going again with these. Big push, 1 landing, and 2. And 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay, so that stiffness as we land is really, really important. The sound that you're hearing from my foot is really important. It's an aggressive takeoff and an aggressive landing. 1, 2, probably a bit far from the wall, make sure the knee stays bent all the way. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. Okay, so these last ones, you can probably hear the slight difference in the movement. Okay, we're going to finish off here. You can do another circuit of those if you want, but I'm going to finish just here. I'm going to come down onto the floor, hands in front, sitting bones nice and high, and I'm just going to reach back into this pose here. So really nice and tall and long. And taking some really nice long breaths here. And then coming back again. And you could always reach forward, open up the pelvis in the front, and then push back again. So back into here. And then we're just going to finish that. Well done. As always, if you've got any questions or thoughts, please let me know. I'm always open to feedback. But well done, everybody. Hopefully that was a really good class.